Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video. My boyfriend, Jamie, has always been the serious type. This is in no way or shape me saying that he's never been able to take a joke or such, but he's just been quiet. We met in my last year of college while I was working at a bakery. He was a regular there, and since he would come in every day, within a month or two, we got well acquainted. I've known his nature ever since then: quiet, shy, a little reserved and private. He was chatty, but only with people he found a connection with, and I guess one of those people was his work colleague, Emma. Now, Jamie just didn't know Emma through his work. Emma was his girl best friend's close friend, and, well, to put it lightly, the relationship between his girl best friend and I was not pretty from the get-go. It was all for the typical reasons: her making snide remarks about me stealing her best friend, her comparing me to his exes and such. I avoided it all, thinking that maybe she'll come to accept me. Maybe if I stay quiet, I'll have my moment of kill them with kindness too. But oh boy, who knew that was not what I was going to get? Because I witnessed the evil win all in real time. It all started when I started to notice small changes in Jamie. He started getting a lot more outgoing than he usually was. He started attending a lot more parties, without me, of course, started drinking more than usual, became angrier than usual, and started just giving off the signs. Now, you guys might be wondering, hey, OP, doesn't drinking excessively and partying just mean that maybe he wants to live life to his fullest, or it just might be that his mental health is declining? I too thought the same initially and talked to him about the same. He never listened. He was either too busy or too uninterested. After trying to set myself on fire to keep him warm, I realized that he wasn't mentally exhausted or trying to change his lifestyle. I realized that he was doing all this with his best friend and Emma. The fact that he didn't even invite me to any of their meetups, it hurt. It really did. But it felt like life only turned around within 3 months. Everything felt like it just flew in thin air, and I felt like I was losing touch with it all. Well, thanks to Jamie's sister, I think I was able to take off my rose-tinted glasses before it was too late to do anything. The breaking point began on the day a week back when Jamie invited me to one of his dinner parties that he attended with his best friend and Emma. I was totally surprised because, like I said, he has never done this before. Not going to lie, I had my hopes up for a hot second, thinking that he was finally changing, or maybe he was finally able to accept me, or maybe he even thought I was worthy to be introduced to his friends. I know this all sounds pathetic, like I was desperate for his validation. But the thing is that I was just so needy for his love after being stripped away from it all for all these months that I was going crazy in a way. So I got ready in my prettiest dress, wore the best makeup, and got going. Little did I know I was going to get it all ruined soon. The moment I reached the restaurant, I knew something was off. Everyone was quite awkward with me, as if they didn't know my existence. I didn't know them much either, but by the way, they reacted with, oh, the moment I introduced myself to them as Jamie's girlfriend. Red flags began rising here, and by the time the dinner ended, alarm bells were going off like crazy in my head, because the moment that dessert was served, I realized that I had gotten one different from what the others did. It said, "Will you marry me?" I was astounded as I turned around to see Jamie on his knees asking me to marry him. I thought it was real, even though my instincts kept telling me that something was off. I teared up and said yes, and then it happened. The entire table burst out laughing. I was dumbfounded. I instantly realized that I was pranked. And embarrassment would be an understatement because I felt so weak and defeated that I just ran outside the restaurant, called a cab, and drove to my apartment. I haven't let Jamie inside the house ever since, so he's living with his sister currently. Jamie and his best friend keep calling me weak for not being able to take a joke. I'm not understanding what part of all this is a joke, though. Jamie knew how fragile our relationship was and yet decided to mess with it. If this wasn't messed up, though, Jamie's sister called me up recently and has told me that she found out through eavesdropping on one of his calls that this proposal wasn't meant for me at all. Apparently, it was meant for Emma, but something happened and they got it all mixed up. Upon hearing this, I felt so messed up because it all just sounded so unbelievably toxic and crazy. But unfortunately, somewhere deep inside me, I know that it is definitely possible. I feel so defeated and broken. I don't even know what to do. Is this relationship even worth sabotaging? After sleeping things off for a couple of days and just spending time with my friends and family, I decided to finally restart my phone that I had completely shut off. I found my phone flooded with millions of texts, all from Jamie, his best friend, and even Emma. It was sort of unbelievable that Emma even reached out to me. I mean, that girl didn't even have my number. My surprise wasn't a pleasant one, though. I could immediately sense myself getting panicked as I was about to press on the text to open it. I was fully hoping to receive text after text from all of them, shaming me like they were, but this time I felt like I was fully ready to give them back what they threw at me. I believed that I wasn't as weak as the last time, but at the same time, there was definitely a part of me that was weak. So, with this weird feeling inside me, I opened the message and was shocked to find out that their tones had completely changed. I saw their texts go from bitter to sweet, vile to angel-like within the span of hours. I was and still am confused as to what truly brought about this change. I didn't end up responding to any of them because, WTF, am I even supposed to say to them? I called up Jamie's sister instead, and she told me that she knew exactly what was up and that she'd love to meet me and talk about it. I told her I was in. So we've planned this meeting for tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated as to how it goes. Today was the day that Jamie and Jamie's sister, Jacqueline, met. And boy, was the meeting worth every tear that I lost over him. Jacqueline started off the story from the beginning, why the prank actually took place. Apparently, Jamie was going to propose to Emma at the dinner party and leave me. He had made the dinner party reservations for the same and saved the rest for the proposal, but he forgot about it all and ended up inviting me to the dinner party because I wouldn't stop cribbing about the fact that he wouldn't take me to meet his friends. He then did the whole prank thing, which led me to kick him out of my apartment. He moved in with Jacqueline, who knew everything, and told their parents about the same. The word spread, and now everyone, including his friends at the party, are shaming his best friend, Emma, and him over being toxic cheaters. Apparently, Jamie has also cheated on Emma with his best friend, and that's causing some internal issues within them. Everyone is disgusted by him. Jacqueline has gone as far as kicking him out of her apartment. He's currently living in a hotel. Jacqueline and I chatted over everything that went down and how disappointing it is to see this sort of negative change in Jamie. In the end, I decided that I was going to shift all of his things to his parents' place. I have also ended up blocking all three of them. I think you guys can see how much this has changed me. Calling the conversation between me and Jacqueline would be an understatement, because I think it's quite literally brought me back to life. Hi everyone. I have decided that with so much on my plate, I will log off of this account, but I wanted to give you guys a last thank you and a short update. Firstly, I feel very happy to let you know that I'm okay. I'd even be confident to say that I'm way beyond okay. I believe that I'm doing great, actually. I have completely removed myself from the life I was living and the life of Jamie. I'm free to live like a free bird now, and he's free to live a life of misery. The karma has definitely bitten him in the butt. He no longer has any friends or any family left to support him. He's currently living in a tiny apartment, and from what I have heard, he, his best friend, and Emma are no longer in contact because of the falling out that they had. I think I'm living my best life, living in a new locality, meeting new people, and embracing this newly found confidence. I think I owe you guys and many more people who had the humanity in them to support me. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, sounds like Jamie wasn't so much of a good guy after all. Seems like he just had it in him all this long. If it was just the opportunity he was looking for to act on it, please set your standards higher, OP. Yikes, the trio sound like a mess, both mentally and physically. I'm glad you ended up removing yourself from an environment like that, because it wouldn't have taken it to rub off on you as well. What kind of dynamic do these guys even have? I'm weirded out just by reading it, and honestly, I would totally suggest OP to get tested for STDs just in case. I, 38 female, was married to my late husband Jacob, 49 male, for 8 years. Jacob had 2 kids, Megan, 24 female, and Christian, 27 male, and 3 grandchildren from his previous marriage, as well as our son, Jacob, 6. I had pretty decent relationships with Megan and Christian until the day of Jacob's passing. Megan and her 2-year-old son, who lived with us until 2 days ago. Jacob passed away 3 weeks ago after a very short battle with colon cancer. He received his diagnosis just 5 months before his passing. Jacob's family has a history of colon cancer, so he was always good about keeping up with his health and doctor's appointments. The diagnosis wasn't much of a shock, just that it was caught so late, despite his efforts. He was diagnosed with stage 4 and was told that the treatment at that stage was extremely aggressive, with a relatively low success rate. He ultimately decided to just be made comfortable, and while it wasn't a decision I was happy with, I supported him and respected his decision. I asked him when he planned to tell the kids, and he told me that he didn't, and asked me not to tell them. He told me that he would never forgive me if I told them, because he didn't want their last memories of him to be of him sick. He started spending a lot more time with the kids and grandkids and taking lots of pictures and videos. He had a Build-A-Bear made for each of them with a recording of his voice. He continued making memories with them up until the day that he passed away, despite the pain that he was in. It was hard watching him go through that and feeling like I had no one to talk to, and continuing to be strong for him so that he wouldn't be sad for me. The day before he passed, I felt like he knew that he was going to pass away. He had a sleepover with the kids and grandkids like they did when they were little. We laughed and had a good time, and he passed away early the following morning. I let them all have their time with him before calling the police. When the coroner came, he asked if he had any medical conditions, so I told him that he had stage 4 colon cancer. Christian heard me speaking with the coroner and blew up on me. It was so bad that the police had to escort him out. I tried to explain to him that it's what Jacob wanted, but he wouldn't listen. Megan eventually followed her brother's lead and blew up on me as well. They called me so many horrible names, and I broke down. Jacob was cremated, as he requested to be. His ashes were divided amongst his parents, the kids, and myself, and we had a service for him last weekend. Megan and Christian didn't come to his service, along with some of his family members that they told their version of events to. They are planning to have their own service for him tomorrow that I'm banned from coming to. They've been ignoring me and Jacob since the day of their dad's passing, and Megan has since moved in with their mom. My heart is broken. I have zero clue what I did wrong. My son lost his dad and siblings, and he feels so sad and confused. Was I wrong? NTA, you did the best you could in a horrible situation. As much as I hate to speak ill of the dead, your husband was the AH for putting you in that situation and denying his children and grandchildren the opportunity to prepare. It was terribly selfish of him to only consider his own needs and not what would happen when they found out he had been hiding it from them. But it's understandable, but in their grief, his children would rather blame you than him, even though you did nothing wrong. I'm so sorry for your loss and this awful situation. It's not your fault at all. YTA and your late husband too. My parents also didn't tell me that my dad has cancer. I knew something was up because your behavior actually changes when you have cancer, but I never really knew. When they finally told me, they said they wanted to protect me and my sister, and I get that, but I felt betrayed, and that broke my heart. This was in 2018, and I'm still angry about that. It's not about giving some good last memories, it's about letting your children in the dark. And I think they sensed something was wrong, but they didn't know what. My brother, 32, male, married his ex-wife when they were 18. They both wanted a big family, but wanted to get themselves financially stable first. Then they had trouble conceiving. Their relationship was on a very steady decline, and things got bad enough that they divorced 2 years ago, without ever having a baby. I felt really bad for my brother because he clearly wanted a family and didn't get that with her. He's been upset about it, but last year he met someone new, and they're now planning on getting married and moving forward. However, his new fiancée does not want to be a mom. She says she has no problem with kids and likes spending time with the kids in our family, but in her words, prefers the ones you can hand back. I didn't think it was my place to say anything. I had figured that John had decided she was worth not having children and that it was a personal decision. John and I got caught up the other day, and he said that he and his fiancée are postponing their wedding since he wants some time to adjust to his new circumstances. Those circumstances, he told me, were that he and his ex-wife are having a baby together. He is providing a sample, so there's no cheating, and his fiancée is apparently on board, as long as she gets to be a stepmom, not a mom. They plan for split custody even when the baby is a newborn. For the first month, he will visit her house and spend most of the day there helping and bonding, then go home. After that month, they'll start doing weekly custody swaps. I just flat out said it was a bad idea. I don't think anyone in this situation understands what they're getting themselves into. And there isn't room for trial and error when it's a literal baby at the center of it all. I think his fiancée, who is my age, 25, does not understand what will all go into raising this baby and does not realize she won't get to be a stepmom. And even if she does, I have a feeling my brother will resent her for it. I think it's a mess and a recipe for disaster, and I told him so. We argued for almost an hour, and he kept saying he would figure stuff out. I eventually just left because I was too pissed off. It just felt so stupid and immature. My brother left several texts saying I was being an ass, and his fiancée asked me to apologize for hurting his feelings, saying I had zero right to judge them. A few family members have pitched in saying it isn't my life and I have no room to judge. Even friends who agree it's a stupid idea have said I overstepped in passing judgment. I'm willing to apologize if I was an ass, even if I don't support his plan, but I don't like to apologize if I don't have to. AITA for passing judgment on my brother's family plans? You guys can find me to be an ass. I'm okay with that. Please do not fraudulently report me as being self-harmful or suicidal. Please save those resources for people who need them instead of using those resources to own people you disagree with. NTA, this plan is wrong in so many ways, but people are going to do what they're going to do. You are thinking of the child. They are thinking of themselves. That being said, who's to say it will work now if it didn't when they were married? If they do end up having this kid and you want to be part of her life, you may have to apologize to him if you don't mean it. NTA, and whoa, I'm a woman who never wanted kids. I dated a man who had 3 girls and thought it would be okay. Week on, week off. But being a parent isn't week on, week off. Every weekend, there are activities and events that you go to. The parents each don't want to miss these. Being a parent consumes, rightfully, your whole life. I predict your brother's fiancée is young and will want to be out enjoying her life and not be tied down with someone else's kid. The ex-wife should have got a sperm donor. Calmly expressing your concerns is the limit of where this should have gone. You are too invested in your brother's choices. It's his life, and he's a big boy who gets to make his own choices. You are allowed to point out the risks and express your reservations, but arguing with him when he doesn't immediately kowtow to your judgment is overstepping the line. Soft YTA. Your heart is in the right place, and I get that you're just trying to spare him pain, but that's not how adult relationships function. You have to let people make their own way.